Hi, my name is Will Ehrman, and I'm a VP of Product at Procore. I'm thrilled to get the opportunity to speak to you today. Now, I know these are unprecedented and extremely challenging times for the world, and so I just want to start by saying thank you to everyone in construction who continues to show up to work every day and keep this industry moving forward despite all the challenges that y'all are facing. And I also have to acknowledge how odd it is to be participating in a speaking engagement from my house. But with everything going on, I've been trying to stay positive, and so on the bright side, pretty easy commute for a speaking event. Um, so just a quick background on myself. I currently work at Procore as a VP of product, and I've been with the company for 7 years. And it's really been an incredible opportunity to participate in an industry that has become super important to me over the years. I'm also thrilled to be able to co-present with my colleague, friend, and often my construction Sherpa, Dave McCool, who leads our BIM products at Procore. I'm excited for you to hear the latest on what he's been cooking up, and trust me, it's really exciting. I also want to thank Rob from Cast Construction for joining us today. He just continues to be a great partner for Procore, ensuring our products are creating value for our customers. So I just want to thank him for joining and speaking with y'all. So let's dive in. As we approached the speaking engagement, I really wanted to speak about the future of construction technology. And so I did what any product manager would do. I asked real customers and real industry professionals to share their thoughts and insights. So with the pandemic in full swing, I reached out to a number of people in the industry that I trust to help me answer the question: what trends are happening that will impact the future of the construction industry? I spoke with owners, general contractors, specialty contractors, members of construction associations to really try to help me understand where they think the industry is headed and what they feel is going to need to be addressed in order for us to tackle tomorrow's challenges. The insights I gathered were really diverse. They were ranging from emerging technologies, big data, BIM, remote work, and just so much more. And so today I wanted to highlight the themes that I felt were going to be most impactful to how the construction industry is evolving and how software can help make an impact on the trends that I heard. So just like any conversation in 2020, you can't avoid the COVID elephant in the room. It has rapidly and dramatically changed the world, and construction hasn't been any different. As you can imagine, every conversation started with this topic. But what was really refreshing was just the resiliency of the industry to push through the challenges and come up with solutions to the situation. In a matter of weeks and even sometimes days, and I just thought it was also refreshing about the optimism and what the optimism from the pandemic has highlighted. One quote I heard was, "Work is happening remotely from the job site right now, and it's actually working out really well." Time and again, I was hearing stories of project teams forced to reduce the job site footprint and find ways to work remote, sometimes performing tasks that historically had always happened on the job site. But this is encouraging. We know job sites are distracting, they're congested, and they're dangerous. So to hear that many tasks that were traditionally happening on a job site were possible remote has the potential to impact the construction safety, productivity, and improve the well-being of workers who hopefully now can spend less time on the road traveling and more time getting their job done so they can be home spending time with their family. But what are the implications of this? And so, what I also heard was this is going to become a trend in the industry, and we have to put more pressure on our software to support this change. So, what does this remote work trend mean? Well, one result will likely be more software proliferation. In an industry that has already seen an explosion of new software solutions, this trend of more remote work is surely to accelerate and increase the growing reliance on software applications to help manage the complexities of construction projects. Now, there's nothing inherently bad about this. In fact, for someone like me who builds software, it's pretty exciting. But as I continued to have these conversations, another insight continued to surface that started to make the trend more concerning: application sprawl and application fatigue. And so I felt this next quote that I heard did a really good job of summing up two major challenges that construction companies are facing. As the head of IT, I'd like less systems to manage, and for the end user, they want less apps to click and open throughout the day. A lot of their complaints are related to switching between apps when tasks are related. And so the construction industry is seeing a large number of new applications and technology solutions emerge. In most cases, these are incredible solutions. They solve real problems for the industry. But with this influx of solutions comes some challenges. One challenge is the stress it's putting on IT and operations teams to support and manage the growing technology footprint of their business. Construction companies are starting to look more and more like software companies. They're evaluating, implementing, integrating, and sometimes even building software applications. Another challenge is the application fatigue of the end user. And although they're able to tap into a large pool of solutions to help manage their work and increase productivity, the sheer volume of different applications being used by a construction project, it's just overwhelming. Often these are disparate applications. They don't look the same, they don't work the same, they don't integrate. Users are having to remember which applications are used for which task and what their login and password information is. And they're often having to figure out how to manage a single construction process on multiple different systems. And so with remote work increasing and software solving more and more problems for the industry, this challenge of application sprawl is only going to increase. So the question is, what can we do about it? Well, I believe that the solution to this challenge is a software platform. The industry needs to push for software interoperability and encourage and help software providers to leverage platforms to build better integrations. And one example where Procore has tried to impact this need is with our embedded experiences and enabling our integration partners to build their integrations directly into the user interface of the platform. And so here's an example of the Matterport product embedded directly into Procore, allowing a user to access the full power of Matterport's solution with only one click and without having to leave the Procore product. And we expect our customers to find best-in-class applications that solve unique and valuable problems. And what we need to do is find ways to help bring these solutions and business processes together for a more seamless user experience and ultimately to help facilitate a more valuable connected solution. Construction is one of the most complex and difficult industries in the world. And despite the growing number of applications being used to help, we just need to focus on building more powerful integrations that complete the construction workflows. Another challenge resulting from the growing number of applications in the industry is how to connect the vast amounts of valuable data being collected from these applications. More information is being captured in construction than ever before, period. But making it accessible in a way that drives value is proving really difficult. A quote that I thought captured a theme I heard really often in these conversations was, "One of the biggest areas for our business to create a competitive advantage is to be able to capture all construction data in a single system that will integrate with other systems in our business." What I heard from so many in the industry is that leveraging technology to capture valuable information is becoming increasingly easy. But connecting that data so that they can drive meaningful insights that actually add value was actually becoming more difficult. And so, builders, they're constructing more impressive facilities, they're doing it faster, they're doing it with better quality, and technology is helping make that possible. And along the way, this technology has enabled us to capture and store massive amounts of data. Of course, you got the obvious things that have long been stored on paper and in email and Excel, like RFIs and submittals and change orders and budgets. But as technology advances, so does the breadth and depth of the data that's accessible. Just look at the many more advanced job sites today. And what we're seeing on those projects is that everyone has a tablet in their hand or a smartphone in their pocket. We're seeing tools, equipment, material all being tracked. We're seeing site cameras and laser scanners and drones. Now the question is, where does all this data go? And how can we leverage it to drive valuable insights? The solution I'm going to present again is a software platform. There's a massive opportunity to connect data together in a common platform that can simplify data and provide valuable insights to project teams and construction companies. And another trend that I heard many times in these conversations was related to connecting people and project teams. As the industry continues to shift towards more design, build, and integrated project delivery methods, we're beginning to see project teams share more risk. The owner, the general contractor, the specialty contractor, they're all working more closely than ever, and the need for collaboration has never been greater. One comment that really stood out to me and really stuck with me was, I believe in the next 3 to 5 years, there will be less division in construction. We need to break down the silos that were created to mitigate risk, work together as a team to optimize constructability and cost, not create silos for lawyers to make money. What I heard often in my discussions was not only a reference to construction methods changing, but also a real desire for more partnership and collaboration in the industry. This is extremely encouraging and exciting, as there are a few things everyone on a construction project has in common. They want to do high quality work, they want to do it safely, and they want to do it in a way that maximizes profit. And so the question that I asked is, how can technology facilitate this trend and ultimately accelerate this trend? Well, We need to find ways for software to represent the shift in the industry and become as collaborative as the real humans that are working on these projects. Today, software is often still getting in the way of collaboration, creating silos of information and silos of process. But there's a huge opportunity to change this and leverage software to help facilitate bringing people together. By connecting project teams on a shared platform, we can facilitate collaboration in new and unique ways. And so as I reflected on the conversations I was having and the trends I was hearing, I began to ask myself this question: how do you connect people, technology, and projects to build in a better way? And I looked to see if anything like this had been answered before. And frankly, if you look outside of construction, it really wasn't that hard to find. Everywhere you look, industries are being transformed by platforms. The best platform solutions provide game-changing products that dramatically solve complex problems in unique and innovative ways. And then they spawn ecosystems full of partner applications to expand their capabilities and exponentially grow the value and impact of their platforms. I listed a few examples here, and these platforms have revolutionized the way we buy, sell, and stay connected. Where would small businesses be in this economy if they didn't have an easy way to participate in e-commerce with Shopify? How effectively could any of us stay organized and connected without things like Zoom or Slack? And these are only a few examples, but when you begin to look, Google, Apple, Facebook, Salesforce, Netflix, you'll see that almost every aspect of our lives has been transformed by a platform. And so as I shared previously, in recent years, technology companies have flooded the market with these siloed solutions. And while these solutions address some of the challenges, because of their disconnected nature, they prevented users from maximizing their full potential. Software companies have rapidly spun up solutions that solve one piece of the puzzle, but this has left many companies in construction with a jerry-rigged collection of siloed solutions that has prevented construction from bridging that gap and really realizing the productivity gains that other sectors have already. And I believe that for this industry to reach its full potential, it needs a different approach, a platform approach that looks at the big picture like the platforms I mentioned previously have done. And so with our platform, we've created an open, flexible framework for solving multiple complex construction problems. Everyone attached to a project is connected by the platform. They're collaborating, they're sharing data, they're driving the project forward faster and more efficiently than ever. And our goal is to give everyone from the owner to the GC to the specialty contractor the tools they need to get the job done, while breaking down the communication data silos that have been holding the industry back. In addition to building a collection of industry-leading products that span the entire project lifecycle, we've also partnered with over 200 leading technology providers in the industry to build integrations that connect these solutions through a unified platform. As construction relies more and more on technology and strives to connect their applications and data in more efficient, collaborative ways, a platform provides a compelling opportunity to transform the industry and solve these difficult challenges. And so as I reflect on these conversations I was having, there was one additional trend that continued to arise time and time again, and that was BIM. And although for many years I've heard similar sentiments from the industry and customers, this time felt different, and everyone I spoke with referenced the increased pace of BIM and its integration into the construction process. One quote that represented the general sentiment really well was, "BIM will continue to become more standard to our process and more integrated across the project team. We just need to be able to connect the BIM silo and the operations silo." This type of statement isn't new to me, but the frequency that I heard it and the conviction with which it was delivered this time around definitely was. The industry is actively making the shift, and the transition is happening quickly. And this trend is no different. I believe that there are massive opportunities to accelerate the impact of BIM by leveraging a connected platform to connect information and technology silos. But as I thought about BIM, I considered another insight that came up in my conversations about the challenges of technology adoption in the field. As one general contractor said, the industry needs easy-to-use solutions that can be leveraged by everyone, not just those with strong technology skills, especially our workers in the field who struggle to adopt and find value in solutions today. And the question I struggled with was, how can we implement a complex technology like BIM into our construction process if we can't find a way to integrate it with the field? And the customers that I spoke with felt the same way. Simplifying BIM and ensuring we can bring the entire company along will be a game changer. BIM is a clear trend in the industry, and there's a massive opportunity to unlock the value of the technology. But frankly, rather than try to dive into this topic on my own, I felt it was best to lean on the expertise of my colleague Dave McCool. Dave leads our BIM products at Procore and is doing incredible things with technology to tackle this opportunity. Dave had over a decade of experience in the construction industry before joining Procore, and in addition to his role as a director of VDC, he also found the time to publish a book on BIM, teach at universities around the world, and received the Distinguished Leadership Award in 2016 from the Design Build Institute of America. I'm excited to introduce Dave McCool to speak to y'all. Thank you.
So I'm going to continue the conversation that Will started around a connected collaborative platform as it relates to BIM, because it's honestly never been easier for your field teams to access the model and also use the model. But it's also never been easier for them to collaborate with all the project stakeholders, whether they're in the trailer, in the office, or now working from home. They can simply navigate to where they need to be, create a coordination issue or an observation from the mobile viewer. It takes a snapshot of the model, the 2D navigation of where they're standing, and they can assign it to whomever. And this issue now syncs to the platform. And that's not just the web application, it also syncs to our integration with Navisworks. And so wherever your BIM teams are and wherever they're coordinating, they can now access that field issue and do what they do best, which is problem solving and keeping the field teams on track. And as long as designers continue to put floor-mounted toilets and walls with risers on top of beams, we will continue to have jobs. In this bottle refilling station example, there's not many options. All the walls are on top of beams. And so it's probably going to end up being a fur out. And this is traditionally where there's been a challenge, right? It's creating an email and attaching images and snapshots and trying to describe the problem to the project team so that they can put it in the PM solution. But not anymore. You can create the RFI right here within the Navisworks plugin. You can add drawings and context to that RFI so you can build it out as detailed as you need to make sure that the design team has all the information that they need to respond as quickly as possible and keep the project moving. And what's great about this is when those RFIs are created and when they're responded to, the statuses of these RFIs are synced again across the platform. So it doesn't matter if you're in Navisworks, if you're on the web application, or now on mobile, you will get notified and see the notification and status of that RFI. And that's what I'm excited to talk about today. We are in a phased rollout of coordination issues on mobile, which round trips this whole process back to the field. So now they can access that coordination issue from their mobile device. They can open it up. It's been released, which means it has an official response from the RFI. They can open up that RFI and now see the response from the design team and open up the attachments. So the new issue drawing, for instance, or any of the details around that fur out, they can now access. Also within this coordination issue tool is commenting and activity feed. So you can mention anybody on the project team and let them know that that RFI has been responded to, and they'll know instantly. It's also BCF compliant. So if you tap that image in the top, it launches the mobile viewer to that exact spot seamlessly so that you can see the new model and where that fur out is located. Connected, collaborative platform with BIM. But you've heard that before. You've heard platform, you've heard collaboration. So the next feature that I'm excited to show you will allow you to visualize collaboration in a way that you've never been able to with BIM. It also solves a major problem that is only amplified by the fact that we're now working more dispersed and more remote than we've ever been. You see, when you're coordinating a building, as you know, you have an active listener, which is the trade you're working with, let's say fire protection, and you have passive listeners on your call who are probably disengaged. And inevitably, as you're going through the conflicts of the fire protection, you'll run across an issue where you need to engage one of the passive listeners. So let's take the fire protection, for example. If the fireman is in conflict with the duct, you may have to be like, Frank, can you do something with the duct? Because we can't do anything with the fireman in this spot. And I think everybody on this call knows exactly what the next response from Frank will be. Well, where are you? What are you looking at? And so this feature will hopefully help solve that challenge and make your meetings more efficient. So coming out in the next few months on mobile first and then web will be the ability to see all users within a model in real time and where they are and what they're looking at. This will be available both in the 3D view as well as the 2D navigation view. So if you open up the sheet, depending on what level that user is, they'll show up on the sheet and you can track them. And if that question comes up of, well, where are you and what are you looking at? You can simply select the icon in the top right corner. It'll show you everybody in that session. And then you can navigate directly to their camera and see exactly what they're seeing. So both of these features are obviously advancing tech in construction. But the next feature I'm really excited to show you, we believe changes the way you build. I've always been puzzled at the fact that we spend so much time coordinating that federated model down to LOD 400, fabrication level, down to the hanger, seismic, the sleeve, the embeds, the blockouts. And then we go and we take that entire model and recreate it in an authoring program to create another set of drawings. And I started to think, and we said, well, why can't you just use the federated model? And as one of our customers that we showed this feature to so eloquently put it, he said, a lot of people talk about the model being the center of everything, but this feature actually does it. So I am incredibly excited to unveil for the first time here at Advancing Tech, a feature that is in a closed beta right now, anticipated to release by the end of the year. We like to call it dynamic wall elevations. Using the bottle refilling station example, we can now navigate to that exact same spot, click the wall, and simply draw an elevation. But what you'll notice is as I zoom into the trade, I get dynamic dimensions and context to the objects. So the more I zoom, the more detail I get. If I select any of those objects, the first dimension I get is center line, off of grid and off of level. You'll also notice that it tells you the name of the object at the top. If I select that object again, I get the outside dimensions of that object. So any object, first click, center line, second click, outside dimensions. You also see there's a sectioning tool in the bottom right. If I drill into the wall, you'll see the riser of the bottle refilling station showing up on the left. If I select the riser, same thing, center line and outside dimensions to grid, so I can ensure that I'm installing exactly per the plan. If I continue to drill into that wall, you'll actually see the fur out on the other side, and I can select that wall to make sure that the framing is being installed exactly per the RFI that we just received from the design team. I'll say it again, it's never been easier for your field teams to use the model. 2 years ago, when we announced the acquisition of BIM Anywhere, I said, we invested in BIM to protect your investment in BIM, because you spend so much time coordinating these models down to the nuts and bolts. And we wanted to make sure that plan of attack made it to the troops installing the work. We want your field teams to be as safe, productive, and as efficient as they possibly can be. And that commitment has never changed. And this is just another example and another feature to keep us on that journey and that mission and our company's vision to improve the lives of everyone in construction. Thank you so much.
I began utilizing BIM for MEP coordination in 2009. And since that time, I and everyone else I know that's involved in BIM in the construction industry has complained about the tedious process, the lack of accountability, and the lack of engagement with the project team. I believe we're finally seeing a viable solution in the Procore BIM tools. For those of you that were working in the industry at that time, you'll recall the recession was still pretty heavily affecting construction. I was a project manager coming off of a condominium project that had a very difficult coordination effort, not to mention a difficult design team and owner. And I was honestly wondering if I was going to stay employed after that job. I was called into the main office and I was given a promotion to BIM manager, which meant I got to keep working throughout the recession. To me, BIM was an obvious solution to the challenges I had faced in coordination on my previous project. But as we've seen in the years since, that's not so obvious to everyone else in the industry. Fast forward to today, I've been working at Cast Construction for the last 5 years as the Director of Technical Services, after a brief foray back into project management for a few years. To give you a little context and background on Cast, we did over $500 million last year worth of work, primarily based on condos, apartments, hotels, a few municipal and other projects thrown in. We work primarily in the southeast and southwest regions of Florida. We have project sizes that range anywhere from $2 to $200 million and anywhere from 1 to over 40 stories. We've never had a contract with an owner that requires BIM. We generally don't get design models. We have seen that improving lately. And we often outsource for our architectural and structural models while we get our MEP models from those trades. A lot of our trade partners are new to BIM, and often their Cast project in BIM is the first project they've ever done with BIM. In our old method of coordination, we relied heavily on the clash detective in Navisworks. We would run the clash, we would group the clashes all the way down to the individual assignee level. Then we'd meet with the trades, assign out the clashes, and issue these massive clash reports. While that system did allow us to process the models, it was tedious. There was no issue tracking, no ability for the subs to respond to the issues. It existed largely in a silo, and it required us to create multiple means of communicating so that we could meet the subs where they live. There was no accountability, no engagement, no integration with our project management solution. And probably worse of all, it required tools to which really only the BIM staff has access. Earlier this year, we signed up for the Procore coordination issues and model tools. And since then, I and our 3 VDC managers have been refining and developing our SOPs around those tools. We're finding that the coordination tool means that we don't need to be anywhere near as granular with the way that we group our clashes within Navisworks. We can group by larger areas, and then we can kind of pick out the individual issues using the CI tool for assignment, for tracking, and for help getting resolution from the design team. We track those issues using the dashboard that comes with the CI tool, but we also subscribe to Procore Analytics, and we've created a report in Power BI to even better track those issues. It's embedded right in the embedded apps within Procore, and each issue in the report links right to the issue within Procore. We also utilize the model tool within Procore, which allows you to view the coordination model right in the tool, both on desktop and in mobile. And it allows a VDC manager to export the model directly from Navisworks to Procore. There's no middleman, no stopping along the way. We've come up with a way to track our coordination areas so that anyone opening that model can easily see the status of the coordination in those areas. Green indicates an area that we've completely signed off. Orange indicates an area that we've partially signed off, maybe a corridor that we've signed off when the units aren't completed yet. Yellow indicates the areas that we're still working, and then red is just those areas we haven't gotten to yet. We also use the save views, which you can export from Navisworks into Procore to indicate the status of those areas as well. And then those save views also aid with navigation in the field, so we can create custom views to help people get right to the spot in the model they need to be. But the real key to the navigation in there for our teams has been the fact that it's keyed to the drawings. One of our superintendents can open up the model viewer, grab a plan, place his finger on the plan, drag it the direction that he wants to look, and it drops him directly into the model right in that location and with that orientation, regardless of the status of the work in the field at that time. For issues that we need a little help with or that we need to escalate, we'll escalate those to either an RFI or to an observation. When we escalate to an RFI to get design team assistance or answers from an owner that we need for coordination, we can do that right from Navisworks, or we can do it within Procore itself. It brings over a model snapshot. It brings over a drawing snapshot if the coordinator has dropped a pin on the plans, and then they can add any other attachments they may need, like product data or photos from the field. For issues that we've decided we're going to push out to field coordination that may be minor issues or maybe just issues that we can't address in BIM, we use the ability to escalate from a CI to an observation. And again, it brings over the model snapshot. You can add attachments, and then we assign those to the CAS superintendent that's responsible for that individual area or trade within the building. The key thing here is those records of RFIs and observations retain their links back to the CI. And that CI in turn links directly to a save viewpoint within the model. So if you have an RFI that you need extra information on, you can click the link to the CI, then click the link to the model, and it'll drop you in the model right in the spot in question. You can navigate around and get additional information about the issue at hand. So what we're finding is that the Procore BIM tools really are the tools that we've been looking for. And they're making the coordination process easier on the VDC staff, which is important. But most importantly, they're improving our engagement from the on-site project team, the CAST PM, the trade foreman, the design team, the owner, and everyone else involved in the process has that ability to engage with the BIM and the coordination right through Procore. We've removed it from that silo where it just exists in Navisworks, hidden on a server somewhere, and we plugged it into our project management solution. We can communicate better, we can hold people accountable, we can track our progress, and we can meet people where they live and where they're comfortable. Allows us to stay engaged with the entire project team better than ever before in my 10+ years of being involved in BIM in the construction industry.